20%, no droids, no bounty hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies. We do this for the love of Star Wars. And what time is it? 10:21. So there you go. Let's talk about this. So, Chapter 5 is way different. And it's basically an episode of The Mandalorian. Gonna go through spoilers, so if you don't want to know the spoilers, come back after you see this episode and finish watching this video. We see Mando, and I don't quite know where he is. It could almost be Coruscant. I mean, it really could be. It could have been Nar Shaddaa, but he's somewhere. And he is looking for a bounty. And he's got some Clitonians. He walks into a butcher shop, and some nice sides of beef there, by the way. I would have liked to have one of those cows to fill up my freezer. And he basically gets into a fight, and he uses the Darksaber. And he gets wounded, so he goes and brings the head of the guy that, hey John, I'm talking about it right now. I liked it a lot. It was different, and I'm gonna have a rant after I'm done talking about the episode. He brings, I think, probably the head. Hey Jeremy. Oh, chat. Well, actually, it's really chapter 21 because the Book of Boba Fett is basically Mandalorian 2.5. I kind of knew for a long time we were going to see the characters from Mando show up. I didn't think we were going to get a whole show, and I thought it was really good. But let's talk about this. So he takes the head of the Clitonian that he was hunting for, dumps it on the table. I think he gets paid. I have to go back and watch it again. And they tell him where to go. He goes down to the bowels of the city. Here's a question. Anybody in chat know what that was? Because I think it didn't look like Coruscant, but it was someplace like that. So he goes there, and he finds what's left of the cohort of his Mandalorian clan. Okay? And he takes the he's basically told that the Beskar steel spear is bad luck. So he has it turned into chainmail for Grogu. So we're going to see Grogu, I think, in Mandalorian Season 3. And probably Luke, too. And he's also told that Jedis basically kind of aren't allowed to form attachments. And he's kind of being cautioned by the armorer not to get too hyped up to see Grogu, because it might not be what he thinks the reunion might not be that great. Hey man, Piranha. So he goes, she makes that, and then he shows her the Darksaber. She tells the story of the Darksaber, and he tells her about Bo-Katan, and she basically says Bo-Katan is an unfortunate soul. And then it's a ring world. Okay, where was it? Do you know what the name of it was? So anyway, then he has to go into combat because the big guy, whom I always thought was played by Jon Favreau, basically faced him in combat because he's a direct descendant of the first Mando that had the Darksaber. And he beats him, and then the armorer asks, have you ever taken your mask off? And he kind of went, now, this is where the integrity of the character really comes out. He sits there quietly for a second, then he finally admits, yes, I've taken off my I've taken off my mask. And she basically kicks him out. He's no longer, quote unquote, a Mandalorian. Okay. And so he leaves and he gets on that stupid Starliner. Dear Disney, quit making that. Until it's fixed, don't advertise it. I don't want to go on that thing. Because what you show in the TV shows and what people actually get are completely different. No one is going, that's okay, Mad, is going on that fucking Starliner to see Kyle Ron, the dog-faced boy, or the 2x4 Ray that speaks. Anyway, he goes to Tatooine, and he had put a message out for Amy Sedaris' character to find him a Razor Crest. Instead, okay, now this is awesome. Get ready. Instead, she finds him an old pre-Galactic Empire, pre-Clone Wars Naboo Royal Starfighter. It was like having a bomb dropped on me seeing that thing. And part of the episode is them putting it back together. And it's very interesting to me because in the dragon slaying episode, a Naboo N1 Starfighter, incidentally, was the same one Anakin was in during Attack of the Clones, and it might even, or not Attack of the Clones, but in Phantom Menace, and probably it might have even been that particular fighter. So anyway, I'm gonna say this. We get to Tatooine, and hey, Star Wars Theology, how you doing? We get to Tatooine. We first get there, and at Boba Fett, we see a moisture farm much like the Lars homestead, with the Huttese letters KK on there. And then we get the Naboo N1 fighter, the Royal Naboo N1 Starfighter. I want to say this. Anakin Skywalker's shadow is very, 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 very long. And Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are not shy. We got, was it Vanth's spear? Those were the engines from Anakin's pod racer. Now we've got a Naboo N1 Royal Starfighter. Mando takes it up after they're done fixing it, and it's unbelievably fast, and it's as fast as sublight as the Falcon is, okay, which is incredibly fast, fastest ship in the galaxy. He goes up, he takes it up into space. He basically thumps that stupid Star Cruiser, gets in trouble with a military patrol, X-Wing fighters, and they have a conversation, and he's finally like, shit, they're gonna pull me over. So he just hits that extra burst and is gone. And they're like, well, there he goes. Do you want to report it? No, I don't want to do the paperwork. So he goes back down and lands it. And waiting for him is Fennec Shand. And Shand basically says, Boba needs your help. And Din Djarin says, I'm at his service on the house. The shadows of the Skywalkers themselves is huge. R5D4, okay? All right? The story the Armorer tells about what happened to Mandalore, and it shows a nuclear explosion going on, was just... that's what I thought, Piranha, as I was like, where is he going to put his bounties? The thing about a Razor Crest is it had room for a carbon freezing unit and like a jail, like a prison to keep them in. Hey, Trayla. So, but this is a callback again to Anakin Skywalker more than Luke. R5D4, that is probably the same droid that decided to punch out in episode 4 of the feature films. Yep. Everything. I mean, there were all kinds of things. Here's the deal to the people who are bitching and moaning and saying they hated it, and then you ask them what they want, and they want to see Boba Fett building up his crime organization, and you tell them he's doing that, and then they don't answer the question, really. I literally don't know what people want. They're shocked that that Boba Fett really is chapter part 2.5 of The Mandalorian. Okay? They're shocked. They're upset. They're upset that Mando appeared. It's like, and I gotta say this, I really think it's time for channels to start being honest, because I'm gonna say this. Hey Ben, I think a lot of people are saying they don't like it, or saying they don't like it for reasons, and I don't think they're being honest. I don't know how you not like this episode. I don't know how you not like this whole show so far. Sure, there are slow moments. I partially blame the big channels, the Nerd Gamer channel, the Beard channel, and that loudmouth kid. I blame them a lot. Again, Disney's allowed people who absolutely are so fucking stupid and ignorant about how to watch a movie, and even a TV show, to form. That's exactly what it reminded me of, to form the narrative, okay? And other channels gotta feel like they gotta repeat it, because the cool kids are. Let me explain something about those big channels. They're gatekeepers, okay? They don't want positive. They don't want you to like it. They'll sit there and say, I'm glad you like it, but, and then they'll chase you out. It's like, you're not allowed to have a voice. Ever. If you say you liked it and then give intellectual reasons and bring up the callbacks, the well done callbacks. No, they're not member berries. The well done callbacks to a game, to the PT, to the OT. You're attacked for it. This has nothing to do if a person likes it or not. I know, and that's what I think, and it's time for people to start being honest. Because I think the disingenuousness and the lack of actual knowledge of Star Wars Hey, Aldrich. The lack of actual knowledge of Star Wars baffles me. I had a very famous movie critic who I went on my Facebook page raging, basically saying, I agree with Martin Scorsese. Marvel has ruined movies. Okay, because it has. And this guy liked it. He's on my Facebook page. I've discussed Star Wars with him at length. Okay, he didn't like the PT, but again, that's fine. We can have an intellectual discussion with it about it. You know. I don't understand what you're talking about, Hastor. I don't, and if you want Kennedy to keep Star Wars, because that's what you're doing is you're helping her, okay? That's what you're doing is the people who hate for clickbait, for money, for, oh, I want, like, you know, who go on, and they're all very interconnected. So if you criticize one, you're going to get shit on, okay? Who cares if some of these people go out of their way to hurt friends? Well, I don't really care what people think. I'm sick of it. Again, you ask them what they want. They're not being, well, this is a good show. And again, if you don't support, Jon Favreau, you're helping Kathleen Kennedy. Okay? I'm not going out on a limb saying that either. All right? What do you want? I've asked that question today of people, and they never say what they want. Well, why should they enjoy it? There's money to be made. Why should they enjoy it? There's cool points to win with the clique, with the club. You can't sit there and cheer for Gina Carano. Oh, go for it. You can and attack the club, and then sit there and attack people for liking a Star Wars project that isn't Favloni, or that's Jon Favreau. Yeah, I think so. But I'm going to tell you this. First off, I don't give a fuck about what people think. I really don't. It's time for people to start saying, I don't care. You either, if you don't know the lore, why are you watching this? First off, here's the deal. They wanted Boba Fett to be what, a superhero? To come flying out of the Sarlacc in his jetpack. That didn't happen in the EU. Yeah, sure, he used the jetpack, but he was almost destroyed by that thing. Okay? And what do you want? They want a fucking superhero. They see Boba Fett, they think Iron Man. They want explosions and feats of heroic and superhero type stuff. Let me tell you something about Boba Fett. Okay, this is before the prequel trilogy. He never faced Han Solo in the OT mano a mano. He never did that. So I don't know what you want. Boba Fett said 5 lines in the original trilogy, not 9, like some condescending jackass just told me. 5. He followed Han after he remembered what Obi-Wan did, trying to escape Jango. So he kind of figured Han Solo, who is not a stupid man by any means, would do the same thing, and he did. Okay? Realized he was going to Bespin, put two and two together that Lando was there, got to Bespin, got a hold of Vader, and Vader shows up. Vader's the one that takes Han Solo, not Boba Fett. Again, the big, tough superhero Boba Fett never, ever, ever, ever goes mano a mano with Han Solo. All right? Why? Why? There's a great chance that he, A, wouldn't catch him. B, might get himself killed. Okay? All those cool weapons, big deal. Big deal. It goes to the point that Han Solo is not just a guy you go up to and say, I'll bring you in warm or cold, your choice. You'd be dead. He'd kill you. All right? And then there's Chewbacca, who's not impressed with any of this shit. And then there's Leia, who's not impressed with any of this shit. Han himself, you better be able to come up behind him. And you better be able to fool the shit out of him, because you're not going to just get him walking up like that. Just like what Mando did in this episode. Vader's the one that chooses carbonite, not Boba Fett. Fett is probably happy as hell. Hey, I'm Mexican Iron Man. And it's like, yeah, how can Han Solo be handled? Well, put him in carbonite, and you don't have to worry about him escaping. You don't have to worry about him getting loose on your ship. Okay, he's there. He's not going anywhere. Takes him to Jabba. The irony of ironies, and this is where I'm calling out everybody. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the negativity. There are people out there cheering on the audience score at Rotten Tomatoes. Hey, Debbie, do you really want good Star Wars? Do you want Kennedy to come back? Because that's exactly what you're doing. Okay? It's a little bigger than what you like and what you don't like. All right? If you can't enjoy Star Wars, which without Kennedy, without the woke shit, what can I say? All right? What can I say? Go back and watch Marvel. Okay? I don't know what else to do. But Maze, you know what to do. Mexican Iron Man, you know what to do. The irony of ironies. Fett gets his ass kicked by Luke. He can't handle a Jedi. But we knew that from the Clone Wars. Oh, wait. These people never took the time to actually watch the Clone Wars. Okay? You have found out that Boba Fett really isn't much changed from that kid in the Clone Wars. There's so many moments when he's disgusted by the way people were behaving towards. No, I'm mad at people who didn't like it and make it so we can't enjoy it. That's what I'm mad about. Stop asking questions. Okay? If they had watched the episodes where is Mike? Oh, I am sick and talk of her too. But I'll get to that in a second, because I think a lot of it, and I'm gonna ask you, what do you want then? You want Kennedy to come back? Because that's what you're gonna get. All right, you have a choice. All right? You want explosions and Boba Fett being a superhero. The guy that got his ass kicked by a Jedi. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then Han taking Oh boy, Lordy. She's a figurehead. Do you know what a figurehead is? Go look it up in the dictionary. Okay? Because if she was still in charge like you imagine you believe because the bigger channels make money off of her and want you to believe that, okay? The KK in episode 1, which is painted quite obviously on that moisture farm that looked just like Luke's, there is evidence. The KK on the moisture farm. That was Huttese, that whoosh, right over your head. The fact that there's no woke shit, Boba Fett would have been gay. Fennec Shand would have had a girlfriend. All right, that's it. There. I'm done. I'm not gonna have conversations about Kathleen Kennedy with refugees from Junkman or the other places. And basically having the Niktos, which is interesting, it's a Nikto speeder bike gang, so the N. But they put KK on the moisture farm. Do you think that would have gone? Do you think, Pablo Hidalgo noticed that? He would have raised a red flag? She can't do anything about it. It's over. So, well, because it's not woke. All right? It's not woke. I mean, that's, well, and you're right, Mad. I mean, but where's the evidence? Well, there's some. But, let put the usual suspects' names up. Because they said it wasn't, that she's not going anywhere, then of course she's still there. And she's like, yeah, I got all this stuff. Where? Okay, she's not in London, and she's supposed to be a hands-on producer for Indy 5. I hope he gets another Razor Crest too, because that ship is cool. But where are you gonna put a bounty? Where are you gonna put it? I mean, it's just, whatever. Anyway, I got Kojak here. So, Boba Fett's not a superhero. He's not. And he was never one in the Clone Wars. I mean, I think people really built him up to be somebody he wasn't. And, I heard someone say the mystique was taken away when we realized he was a clone and Jango Fett, so we knew what he looked like underneath the armor. And but I give this show a 10 out of 10 because it was a lot of fun. All right. Where are you getting that from, Jamesh? Because I'm going to shoot them down. All right. Anybody who actually believes she has any power over Star Wars right now is a retard, is a fucking moron. You come here on my channel and attack me without any proof. Then you sit there and demand that I get proof. Everything that she has got in the hopper has been taken away. Once we hear the Acolyte is done, and I've gone to look, I have IMDb Pro now because I want to keep tabs on it. No director, yeah, you're right, Matt Piranha. No, I mean, just Leslie Headland, that POC LGBTQ chick, and that's it. And art director. All right, that's it. If, come here, real close, come here, I want to explain something. If it was going anywhere, we wouldn't be getting rumors, okay? Now, You can post something from 2020 or, last year. It's a very old thing that says it's going to start filming. They moved the filming back then. Okay? Everything she's got has been delayed or canceled or auctioned off. The Children of Blood and Bone is not being made by Disney anymore. She lost that project. Okay? I have people on the ground in London. I don't think they have any intention of making Lando. I think there's a project, Star Wars project, I've heard. Now, it's only been in one place, but they're filming, and it could be season 2 of Andor. But it also could be Han Solo. All right. I think the Lando project was dreamed up by the story group because they wanted to do something. I mean, basically, story group took my idea of Han and Leia's daughter being stolen and gave it to Lando. Okay. That was, first off, I feel insulted. Okay. But that was because Lando is a black man, and we can't afford to have any white alpha males look like badasses. Okay. In their little bizarre little world. Anyway, Kennedy is not on the ground in London. She's not. I followed Frank Marshall on Instagram. In fact, I've actually had conversations with him there. He's still in California, Pacific Palisades. They're not going anywhere. Again, you're not helping yourself, Jamesh. You're not. All right? You've got people who haven't gotten out of the past, who aren't looking at the present. Okay? Now, I worked in politics. Okay? I learned to read subtext. Okay? It's always weird how these conversations always end up talking about that bitch. But there are people who have her on the brain, and I'm going to say this again, and I think there are people here that know where I'm going with this. There are people out there who know if she leaves and they see Hidalgo leave, and I got news about him too, by the way, etc., they won't have anything to talk about. They built their channels on hating her. That is disingenuous on steroids, in my opinion. My channel, I don't make money on this. What you see is what you get. Now, about Kennedy, I've learned to read between the lines. She lost the Children of Blood and Bones. They auctioned it off. She'll probably lose Acolyte. She's not on the ground in London, and they're basically in the home stretch of wrapping Indy 5. Okay. And what's really funny is there have been no paparazzi shots of Harrison Ford or anybody from that movie. Okay. I've heard a story that an actor who is rumored to be part of that now is going to be in the United States. Okay. This is a big deal. He would not be part of that show if she was still in charge. Okay? They take movies away and kick people into the executive producer's spot all the time if they're fucking up. Okay? None of this stuff. None of this stuff was heard of until after Doomcock's rumors came out in the Daily Mail. Okay. So for the naysayers and the loudmouths and the people who can't apologize publicly, you explain to me how he was wrong. Okay? You explain to me that. And I'll just sit back and wait for you. Okay? The moment that rumor came out, Indy 5 got pushed back from its release date for a year, and all of her stuff started going away. Okay? All right, so you tell me how much she's in charge. She's not in London, as far as I can tell. She's in California. I have heard health rumors about her from 2 different sources now, but I'm not convinced they're true. Okay? And, I hope they're not true, to be honest. But no, she's not in charge of anything in Star Wars anymore. I mean, Mike and Polly can attest to this. What do you think she thought when she heard that Nikto biker gang put 2 Ks on that Moisture Farmer's house? What do you think that she thought? Do you think she had anything to say at all? Okay. How do you think she feels about the Children of Blood and Bone being made by Paramount now? And then basically, probably Bob Iger or Bob Chapek putting this out in the Hollywood Reporter that she's basically a racist, a closet racist, over this. How do you think she feels? She looks like a buffoon, to put it mildly. But no, she's in charge. Okay, I want some of whatever you're smoking so I can live in that world too. Now, back to the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 5. Or Mandalorian, Chapter 21. It was a really great tie-in to Mando. It was great seeing Din Djarin back. You see the humanity in him. That was a pretty dark thing. But if you look at it, lots of parts of Star Wars are dark. I mean, the Book of Boba Fett is actually a pretty dark story. Now, I could live without the mods, biker gang, all right? I would have probably approached that differently. I would at least made them look, if you're gonna go, if you're gonna go and do a kind of a punker biker look, you don't do that. There's too many colors. It's too bright for Tatooine. And the kids were too clean. They looked like they should have been wandering around Coruscant on one of the lower levels. It was too Tatooine. I mean, when you see Amy Sedaris at her little junkie repair shop, I'll get him in a second, John. That's Tatooine. It's dirty. It's dusty. Nothing there is new. It's not clean. It's backwoods. I don't like that stupid Starliner showing up. Why would anybody want to go to Tatooine? Why? And that's Disney trying to sell their hotel, and actually saying that Star Cruiser pisses me off more because you're not getting any of that at the hotel. You get the mule-faced boy in the 2x4 that talks. I don't want that. I have the money to spend on going to that hotel. I'm not going to do it. All right? I would rather, actually use the money. Oh, I know. I can't either. And then she started, when Amy Sedaris talks about the Jawas and how furry they are, I was like, oh my God. I started laughing hysterically. Yeah, I thought it should have been more like Luke's Oh, you're right, Maze. Should have looked more like Luke's buddies, dirty, and kind of just, we're stuck here forever, kind of, you know? I mean, you know, it, that's a part of it I don't like. And I really think that as much as I love Robert Rodriguez, that Favreau, again, I believe that Favreau is now somebody high up in the organization of Disney. And he can't necessarily police everything. But I think he would have chosen something different. And I think Dave Filoni would have too. But I also see Robert Rodriguez trying desperately to get that Battle Angel sequel made, which is where I think that came from. You know, and that's one of the things. I mean, but I would have made those bikes parts of other bikes. I mean, when you look at the speeder that Mando flies in, I think it was episode 1 of season 2 of Mando, or episode 9, season 2. Hey Troy. How dirty it is, how it looks like it's sort of used, and the fact that Vance is parts of an old pod racer that look just like frickin' Anakin's engines. You know, I would too. I think if George had been consulted about those bikes and said, no, that's not Tatooine. And those kids are too clean. You know, they need to be dragged over Blue Rock for a couple of miles. Tatooine, you see, the lore about Tatooine is that because it's such a harsh environment that it literally ages people before their time. So those kids looking clean and nice with all the makeup and their tender skin is bullshit. Okay, it's bullshit. All right. That would look like armor. That would look like chainmail. Beskar chainmail. I'm so yeah. That was a good callback too, I think. But yeah, those are some of the problems. No, Koji, Koji, come here. He's come, 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 come here, come. Actually, so yeah, that's my T-shirt. I got this for Christmas, and I thought I lost it. I worked out in it a couple of days ago, and I had it wrapped up with another shirt. Come here, they want to see you. They want to see you. Kojak. Here he is. There's the boy. There's my buddy. I might do a video from the barn today too, so you guys can see Kay. But yeah, those my nitpicking on Mando is just little things, not the story itself. You know, if you expect a superhero story, and I think a lot of people do, and I absolutely agree with Martin Scorsese. I think Marvel has destroyed movies. You know, people can disagree with me, and that's fine. But when people don't understand, well, let me rephrase this. I think attention spans are shorter than they used to be by a lot. I think people, when they see somebody like dressed like, Boba Fett, they get this idea of the Iron Man. And it's very interesting to me that I think that they have this idea that he's some sort of superhero, and he's not. And these people really can't get away from that. And of course, hating anything Disney Star Wars is lucrative and makes money. Okay, which is fine. I mean, I'm a laissez-faire, cutthroat capitalist. Okay, but you got to do it with integrity. Okay, and I'm going to say this: there are a lot of people out there that say they didn't like it who like it. And Troy's right, and it is a version of the Godfather, in some ways. And I'm going to tell you something else. I think that the true enemy is the Hutts. The Hutts haven't given up. Okay, the Hutts are not. If you think about what Jabba actually controlled, he didn't just control Mos Espa. He controlled all of Tatooine. He controlled that whole area of space. Okay, that was his thing. He was the most powerful Hutt of all the clans, the Deselgic clan. And the fact his cousins want it makes sense. The fact that Rancor was a gift, to me, I still think it's a Trojan horse. I think that it's going to end up being a Trojan horse. And when I think he's been trained to attack him. Okay? And, Danny Trejo just standing there with that look on his face. And he's such a good villain. You know what I'm saying? That Rancor isn't bonded to Boba. He's bonded to Danny Trejo's character. All right? So I think that the Hutts are coming back. Here's a question about it. I know that Darth Maul, who had to come back to the life because the fans wanted it, insert eye roll. No one could be happy seeing him killed in The Phantom Menace and dead. Didn't he kill Zizor and take over the Black Sun? Because of the Black Sun shows up. But then we have the Exchange. Remember them? The Exchange is pretty tough too. But I think it's good. If you get too many, then it gets complicated, and then it does get convoluted. What I think they're going to do is just have it the Hutts. I think the Hutts basically are probably waiting to see who wins the Pikes or the Boba's people, and then they'll probably jump back in. And I think the Rancor is going to be part of that. I don't know how, but I think that. And the reason why is because it's just too pat. Oh, we're giving up. If you know anything about the Hutts, they're not nice creatures. They're not good people, okay? Of course they're up to no good. They always are, all right? They want that territory back under their control. So yeah, I think that they're probably the secret enemy. All right. I mean, I really do think that if Jon Favreau, and I do believe this, has a bigger role at Disney now, that part of the reason why the show seemed off, and I'm going to admit it does, and it did in the past seem off. Part of the reason why is because Favreau wasn't there every day, and neither was Filoni. Oh, I would too. I want to see Nell Hutta. I honestly, I'm literally like this. And it was, I mean, this episode is just a perfect. You've got Boba Fett trying to get his thing going. And you got Mando off on another bounty. He gets wounded with his own weapon, the dark saber, and he can't get rid of it. No one, the people that should want it, don't want it. You've got him kicked out of the Mando, his clan, his cohort, and the reason why is because he took off his mask. I mean, which is. Yeah, he didn't make the Avengers. I don't think he made Iron Man 1 and 2 and was part of like putting it. Oh, I know. But I do think that he's up to no good. I do think Trejo's up to no good in this. I really, really do. Again, the Hutts didn't give anybody a gift. They're Hutts, okay? You never trust a Hutt. And anybody who's a Star Wars fan should know that, okay? I can't remember what I was talking about now, but yeah, this was watching, so you got Din Djarin, basically because he took his helmet off, is no longer part of that cohort. So he's like a man he's really a man without a home. And, this was just, and morning culture, or Carlos, this was just a well-directed movie. And Bryce Dallas Howard was the director. It makes me wonder where she would have gone if she'd had the episodes that were slow. I really honestly would have grabbed Robert Rodriguez by the shoulder and said, "You can't put those." Oh, I did too. I just, it was great. But thanks for coming by. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. And I want to throw it before I go because I'm going to go pretty soon. I want to put this out. A very good friend of mine who's a movie director named Peter Eaton. He directed. It's a 10. He directed a movie that has been out at the film festivals. Passed away suddenly the other day, Sunday morning. And he was very encouraging. Yeah, but let me finish what I'm saying. He directed Danny Trejo in a movie. He was very encouraging. He actually wanted me to get a degree in film and production. He read some of my writing and thought it was great. So if you guys could say a little prayer for Peter Eaton, that'd be great, and his wife. Susanna. Uh, the movie that he just has recently out is called Shadows of the Past. And I can't remember the movie he directed Danny Trejo in, but he absolutely loved him. And I want to put this out there because Peter was a great guy. He really, really was. And he was really fun to talk to about movies and filmmaking because he was an adjunct professor at Regent University. So, and he taught film at Regent University as well as was a director. And so if you could just say a prayer for him, that'd be great. He meant a lot to me and a lot to everybody. And so that's my actual only real connection to Danny Trejo is Peter. But, yeah, the movie's a 10 out of 10, or the show is a 10 out of 10. Everything they did in it was great, okay? Everything. And I'm going to say, if I'm calling you out for being negative, the reason why I am is because it helps Kathleen Kennedy. And I don't like that. I don't like that. If you're coming here and you're trying to explain to me that Kennedy is not going anywhere, you're getting that from people who still look back at 2018, which was the apex of her power, and it started going down like that. In fact, the moment she started losing control of Star Wars was the moment Solo bombed at the box office. Okay? That's when it happened. Oh, I think you're right, Nisha. I think you're right. So don't come here and tell me about Kathleen Kennedy, all right? When I hear people like that, here's the deal. There are people like that who don't want her to leave because they make a lot of money on YouTube by having her to hate on. Channels have been created solely to hate Kathleen Kennedy. All right. That's where that comes from. And there are people out there who have no hope, who don't want to hear it because they want to believe the worst all the time. That is not the way to live your life. Everything has a cycle and everything. I mean, there's a season for everything. And the woke is leaving. Now, fine. Peter Dinklage can bitch and moan about Snow White. And, get Disney to rile up so they can, quote unquote, fix it. But, yeah, well, and and that's fine. But, I can admit that the Book of Boba Fett has some problems. I've talked about them. But it's still a good story, okay? It's still a good story. And the hate that it's getting on Rotten Tomatoes, it all comes from those bigger channels. It does. And the fact that you're not allowed to be part of that clique. They are gatekeepers. And I don't like that. The lesson here is you give them a carrot when they do well, and this is a good story. I'm not looking for much. This is the thing I love. Well, I'm not looking for much, but what are you looking for? I want to see Boba Fett build his empire. He is. Okay? They don't know why they don't like it. And again, they don't like it because they want to be part of that club. I'm sorry. The more popular you are, the lonelier you are. Okay? All right? You don't get to be Joe Rogan by being intellectually dishonest. I want him to be dead. Okay? I am really sick of characters coming back. Unless it's a complete retcon of the sequel trilogy. Okay? Bringing Darth Maul back and the way they brought him back was just like, I don't know what they were smoking. But I would have said, don't bring him back. Don't bring him back. Don't. And they did. And everybody cheered. Oh, it's Wednesday. Yeah, it's out. It's out. Chapter 5. Mandalorian chapter 21. Well, and that's the thing is there's no intellectual reason to hate it. And that's why I love going to watch Latino Slant's channel and hearing Tom Conkle talk about it. A guy who makes movies, a guy who knows what to look for, who can be very intellectually honest about things. We need that. The fandom needs that. It doesn't mean hate for the love of hate. Okay? Yeah, and that's what I think is that's all Elite Battle Angel. That's not Mandalorian. Well, as Doomcock says, we're gonna have to be patient. And again, it'll get retconned and they'll get pissed off because he's the world between worlds. You know? It Yeah, and Polly does a good job. Doomcock does a good job. Cameron does a good job. Midnight's Edge, Andre does a good job. We just got to avoid. You can discuss a show without hating it, okay? And without any good reason to hate it. And and that's basically it. You can because intellectually it's a good show. Up here, there's a lot going on, and it just absolutely floors me that Star Wars fans aren't familiar with Boba Fett in reality. They're not wise to the idea that he really wasn't the big tough guy. That they thought he had a reputation for being the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. But he sure as hell didn't look like that in the OT. Did he? Okay. You know, and I think you're right. I think if they use a world between worlds and the veil of the Force to erase the sequel trilogy, it's gone. What do you want? What do you want? Okay. What do you want? They don't know what they want. They really, really, I mean, honest to God, they don't know what they want. You'll have some people say, I want the EU. Even if they were following the EU, you wouldn't get the EU the way you think you want it. Because adapting those stories to shows and movies is really difficult. It's really, really difficult. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm losing my voice, and I got up early today, and I didn't get any breakfast. Okay, so I gotta go. And what are we having for dinner tonight? I'm gonna do venison and rice and probably a salad. So or just venison and a salad. So I'll see you guys around the galaxy. Behave, be well. And, you know, go watch Latino Slant when he's got Tom on. And, you know, just kick back and just remember what we're up against. All right. It's Kennedy. And the big channels have lost sight of that. And they, you know, she's not there anymore. Just her name on a door. Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.